Welcome to the Gloria Show, where personal growth takes center stage. Founder and CEO of Personal Dynamics, Gloria Sloan, shares practical strategies to enrich your life, elevate your mindset, and empower your journey. As she reminds us, ultra-successful people never stop learning, reaching, and growing. Get ready for fresh insights and uplifting inspiration. Here's your host, Gloria Sloan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gloria Show. I am so glad that you could join me. Today's conversation is about a skill that can quickly but powerfully transform your life. It is a skill that simplifies decisions and strengthens self-trust. It does not require permission. It does not depend on your age. We'll talk more about that. And it does not require a title. And that's important. Today, we're talking about self-coaching. Self-coaching is the ability to pause, reflect, and guide yourself forward with intention. It is the skill that helps you to unlock, to pause. It's an intentional skill. It is a skill that helps you pivot careers, redefine your identity, and evolve at any stage of life. And what I love most about it is this: self-coaching puts you back in partnership with yourself. It helps you to identify more with really who you are. So what self-coaching really is, let's talk about it. Let's begin with clarity. And I know you hear people talk about clarity all the time, but self-coaching has a lot to do with clarity. Self-coaching is not positive thinking without responsibility. It is not ignoring your emotions. It is not pretending everything is fine. Self-coaching is ongoing, and it's about awareness. It is the discipline of awareness. It is the discipline of observing your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, your patterns. And it's about asking yourself, is this aligned with who I am becoming? Instead of asking, what is this happening to me? What is it and why is it happening to me? You begin by asking, what is it teaching me? Instead of saying, how can I change? You begin to ask, what is one small step that would move me forward? And that's where the clarity begins, because I don't want there to be any misunderstanding about clarity and awareness. You hear that a lot with coaching. When awareness replaces the reaction, then that's when the clarity begins. So you say, well, why self-coaching matters at every age? And I said this early on, at every age. Many people believe growth has an expiration date. I'm here to tell you that is not so. Let me tell you a story about me and how I learned how to self-coach myself. Going through different times in my life when I realized that there were so many decisions and things to make, and you heard me talk about that once before, about my own experience of growth. But I learned how to self-coach, Gloria. I learned how to self-coach myself. And it took a lot of discipline. It took a lot of willpower. And it took a lot of steps for me to gradually get through it. And this was over years. I didn't do this self-coaching thing for myself overnight. It really took a period of time. And I often tell the story that I think in ways I was like a late bloomer in my business life and in my business world. Although I've been in business for a very long time and did a lot of successful things, I often feel that the self-coaching kicked in gradually along the way. And that's the story that I want to tell you, is that every milestone and everything that I did in my own coaching career, I could now see how I self-developed myself. Because I say to you, and I've said on the show before, I am a walking and talking example of what I share on the Gloria Show. It's so easy for me to talk about it because I am proof. I am proof that if you take the steps and do the things in your life to self-develop, you can do it, and at any age. And I say at any age because some people think that just because they are hit retirement or hit a certain milestone that they give up and say, well, I don't want to do this anymore. At any age. At 25, we think we should have everything figured out. We don't. At 40, we wonder if it's too late. Yeah. And at 60, we question whether change is worth it. Because you're thinking about retirement, you're thinking about, ready to stop doing some of the things you're doing. But evolution does not expire. Self-coaching allows you to reevaluate your direction without shame. You can self-direct yourself and you don't have to be ashamed of it. You can pivot careers without panic. You can redefine yourself without guilt. You can release old roles without fears. Reinvention is not failure. It is growth, responding to a new awareness. Reinvention. You can reinvent yourself. And, it is the growth that's responding to new awareness. It allows you to update your vision. And we're allowed to do that ongoingly in life, whether you believe it or not. You're allowed to want deeper alignment, and you're allowed to grow beyond past decisions. We've all made decisions, and we're living in decisions that we've made that perhaps we wish we had not made, but you can overcome them. You can do something else. That's what I did. In my own self-development, I couldn't relive and redo some of the things that had happened, especially in my career development. But when I say I was a late bloomer, there's some things that I thought that I could have done years earlier. But for whatever the reason, whatever my circumstance was, I didn't. But eventually I did. And I'm glad that I did, because it was an alignment that went deeper into who I actually became. And self-coaching gives us the tools that we learn how to move thoughtfully instead of impulsively. And that's what I did. I learned how to break barriers in business. I learned that some of the things I felt that I should have probably taken on early on, I did not because of my circumstances. But when I did decide to do them, it was like, wow, this is an eye-opener. And it was so much in line with everything that I was doing, everything that I wanted to do. And I was well up into the age of pretty close coming to retirement. Yeah. And I was not about to turn back. I became an author later than a lot of people start writing early in life. I became the person that I always knew that I could be. And when you can do that through self-coaching, step by step, and milestone by milestone, I had a lot of good milestones. I put myself in a circle around people who were flourishing and thriving. I made it a point to be in the room with positive people, not people who held grudges, not people who were always trying to be just out for themselves or to use people. I learned through self coaching how to associate with people who mattered and who could make a difference in my life. You choose to do that when you self coach yourself. You choose to make your surroundings what you want it to be, even in the worst of circumstances. You still gain control over who you are in self coaching. And, once you start self coaching yourself and you see the results and you see what's happening in your life, you begin to like it. And you see how maybe disassociating yourself with some things, be it family, friends, or whoever, and you like yourself even better, and you say, wow, I have more peace. I'm able to make more accomplishments. And so now you are screening those relationships more carefully. Yeah. And you're allowing people to come into your space by choice. Yeah. In self coaching, you discipline yourself enough to do that. And it is one of the most wonderful things that can happen when you learn how to self coach. We're going to talk more about that, and I'm going to give you some pillars that there's some pillars for self coaching. And actually, there's a model for self coaching that you can use as a guide, and it's a tool. I'll talk a little more about that. But I wanted to just give you some insight on what I'm going to be discussing today in terms of self coaching, and that I am speaking from experience because, yes, I did a lot of self coaching. And as a matter of fact, I still self coach myself regularly. I have people often who have asked me, you say, "Oh, Gloria, you're how do you do this? How do you juggle this? How do you juggle that?" It's not about juggling. It's about making sure that whatever is going on in my life is aligned in such a way that I am thinking about it. I do have emotions and feelings about it, but how I can address it with the awareness that's around me. And that really takes a lot of self coaching. You have to learn how to do it. But then, too, in speaking with other coaches and other coaches who have helped to coach me, yeah, we speak the same language. And when you are around positive people who are doing positive things and who become your mentors and your own personal relationships who support you, you know who supports you when you are self coaching yourself. You identify with these people. Yeah. When you're self coaching, you identify with the strength that surrounds you. When you're self coaching and you are not sure about the decisions that you're going to make and that you need to make because of your circumstances, you know who you can talk to. You know who's going to have the listening ear. You know people you can trust. And so you have to trust yourself in order to do self coaching successfully. You have to trust yourself. You can't just throw yourself out there to anything, anybody, anywhere, anytime. No, you have to learn how to trust yourself and to be aware with the circumstances that you are in. And then it comes to your mind that it's clear to you, one day you just say, wow, what happened? I got over this all because I took time to sit still for a minute and realize where I was, what I was doing. Yeah, so that's part of the Gloria story. I can talk about this because I lived it and I know what it's like when you want your life to align with who you are, who you're becoming, and you can appreciate and welcome the new version of yourself. And mine came over years and years and years and years. Like I say, I feel often like I was a late bloomer, but it's okay because I know where I am now. Yeah, I am aware of what's going on more so in my life than ever before. And I can appreciate all of the goodness and the good things that for so long I just did not see or I took for granted. But I'm here to tell you that when you live long enough and you look back and you say, this is how I got over, and you say, it was because of what I learned along the way, what I learned to appreciate, and how the gratitude that I have got me from one milestone again to another. And at any age, this can happen. Any age. No matter where you are in life now and what you are doing, start looking at your background, your past. Yeah. And you say, wow, I'm ready to let that go. I've got some other things I want to do. Find your alignment. Associate yourself with people who you trust and who can give you some good, solid, honest advice because they know you, they love you, they care about you. And that's extremely important in self-coaching, is that you associate yourself with people who really care about you. And when people show you that they don't, like Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe them. Yeah. And this is when you begin to weed out people, unfortunately, family, friends, and anybody else. But along the lines of self-coaching, you identify this. This is part of your awareness and the steps that you take in the process. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about the 4 pillars of self-coaching. And I'm going to share with you a self-coaching guide that will help you in many steps along the way. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
Do you ever feel stuck? Like you know you are capable of more, but you are not quite sure how to move forward? Gloria Sloan's life coaching program is designed to help individuals break through limiting beliefs, build self-confidence, and gain clarity both in their personal and professional development. Through personalized coaching, Gloria works one-on-one with clients to create clear plans, strengthen mindsets, and reconnect them with their purpose. Gloria's life coaching program is virtual, flexible, and results-driven, with a supportive structure designed to keep you focused, accountable, and moving forward with confidence and momentum. Clients gain clarity, confidence, and the tools needed to unlock their full potential from the inside out. Gloria's belief that ultra-successful people are always learning and seeking new ways to find fulfillment and elevate personal development is what drives her fierce dedication to her clients. Are you ready for your next chapter to begin? All it takes is one powerful decision. Make that decision now and visit www.gloriasloan.com and book your consultation call today. Gloria's ready when you are. It's time to begin your journey.
Hello and welcome back to the Gloria Show, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm talking about self-coaching, and I am speaking from personal experience, but at the same time, I'm giving you some very helpful tips on how you can do it, no matter where you are, at what age and what stage. Self-coaching can help you. I want to talk to you about the 4 pillars of self-coaching and how it works. There are 4 pillars that I spoke briefly about just in general introduction, but the first one is awareness without judgment, And you notice your thoughts without attacking yourself. Have you ever just thought, oh, why am I doing this? And you're beating yourself up. And these are your thoughts. And you don't have to beat yourself up about your thoughts. You notice that you're procrastinating, and you notice that you're feeling insecure. And you notice that you're avoiding conversations about things that you should be talking about. And then that awareness creates options. Yeah, when you're self coaching, the awareness comes up, and then you start the judgment and the shame. And you say, how didn't I not know this? And shame can shut down growth. You can be so ashamed of something in your life that it can just make you like just not want to do anything. Don't beat yourself up about it. I tell people all the time, life happens. Life happens. Don't beat yourself up about it. And yes, you procrastinated. And yes, you're feeling insecure. And yes, you're not taking advantage of the positive options. You're looking at all the ways to get out of doing something. And the judgment has just created you into a big shame. And you're like, oh, how do I get over this? You will if you stay focused on the awareness and removing yourself from all the negative things that are impacting these thoughts. Yeah, the thoughts can really drag you out and drag you down. And that's where we go to pillow 2, because those are the emotional regulations that are like red flags. Self-coaching teaches you to pause before reacting. When you just jump to make a decision about something, or when you just jump to say, I need to do this, and you ask yourself, why am I doing this? This is not me. Why am I saying this? Why did I go there? You know, sometimes it's the strongest move is silence. Sometimes we just have to sit still. And I've said this before. Sometimes you have to sit still to hear the good, positive thoughts. Because if you're moving and going and doing all the things just impulsively, you've got thoughts that are racing through your mind all over the place. You have to look at where the leadership begins with you. There's good in being silent sometimes. And sometimes the wisest action, the best thing is when you've taken enough time to sit still, to think about it, and to say, oh, why didn't I think about this before? And that's where the leadership of your own self begins. When you learn how to lead yourself, you got to learn how to lead yourself. Yeah, leadership, self-leadership. And that's when we can talk about pillar 3, value alignment. Every meaningful decision becomes clearer when filtered through one question. Does this align with who I am? Who I am, who I want to be? And if your growth values, then your actions must reflect the growth. If your value has growth. If you value peace, your choices must protect that peace. And trust me, you want to do that. If you like having peace in your life, then you want values that protect your peace, because when you have peace, it's easier for you to reconnect with your daily behavior with self-coaching. You go into a deeper identity of yourself. You learn more about yourself, the value, the peace that it brings, and you can see if it aligns with who you are. And sometimes, we make these decisions, and again, they're hasty. And you say, why did I do this? I don't know why I did that. That's not who I am. Sometimes we do have to reevaluate and say, that's not who I am. And you look at the value and say, well, why did I say what I said? It was a circumstance, yes, but you didn't take time to think about it. Sometimes we have to think about it before we jump in and make those decisions. Pillar 4 is the intentional action. Now, the action is a reflection without anything that you do or say. It becomes like, I'm going to do this. Self-coaching always concludes with, what is my next step? What's my wisest step? What's the big step? It may not always be the perfect one. It may not always align up the way you want, but you have to give it some thought. All of these pillars, fall under a coaching model known as CTFAR. It's a tool for solving life problems. And if there are any coaches or life coaches out there, I'm sure you're familiar with it because there are 5 components to this particular tool. Number 1, it's the circumstances. Circumstances are facts that are real. The events of your past and other people's actions. Those are circumstances. And circumstances are there. Circumstances are things that can be proven into a court of law. They're circumstances, yes. That's number 1. Number 2 are the thoughts, and we talked about the thoughts. Thoughts are sentences in your head that often contain descriptive words or opinions. We have thoughts. We have so many, many, many thousands and thousands of thoughts that are constantly racing through our heads. That's a component of being able to be self-coaching. You have to be in control of your thoughts. You have to. Number 3 are the feelings. The feelings are the vibrations in your body. Understanding that your thoughts cause your feelings is how you learn to feel better without changing your circumstances. And you say, well, Gloria, how could that be? Sometimes, have you ever been told somebody would tell you, get yourself together? Get yourself together. Yeah. You sit down and you think about this is a circumstance. This is how I'm feeling, and I'm thinking this in my head, but the feelings are the vibrations in your body. You know how you feel. Nobody else knows how you feel. You know how you feel. And you have to sit still long enough to learn how to feel better. And sometimes you're trying to do this without changing the circumstances, because sometimes the circumstances are not changeable at the time. But you need to get yourself together. You need to figure out these thoughts, and you need to self-coach yourself through the process. Yes. And the 4th component to the tool is actions. What you do or don't do. Your feelings cause your actions. You got the circumstance, you got the thoughts racing through your head, you got the feelings, and now you got the actions. Your feelings cause your actions. So that's why you want to be in a better place of how you're feeling. Yeah, you do. You want to be in a safe space in your own body, in your own self, in your own mind, before you react to anything. And that's why it's so important to be aware, to have clarity about what's going on. Because the 5th step to it all is called the results. The results are the consequences or outcomes of our actions. You got the circumstances, you got the thoughts, you got the feelings, you got the actions, and then you've got the results, the outcomes of our actions. So whatever we thought about that we needed to do to be in better control, to feel better, then those are the results. Those are tools to self-coaching. Now, this self-coaching model is often introduced in a coaching program. It's introduced as a problem-solving tool. Every coach has different tools for training, for coaching, and for client engagement, regardless of the type of coaching. I want to make that very clear that in coaching, there are different tools that, depending on the coach, who's coaching you may recommend or present. I'm just sharing with you some of the tools that could potentially be used in a self-coaching program, because that's what we're talking about today is self-coaching. And I'm hoping that the information that I'm sharing with you can be something that would be considered if you are looking at your life and you're saying, I do want to self-coach myself into being able to be more in control of who I am, my awareness. And that is what self-coaching is all about. And it often comes about in the career pivots or redefining your life. And here again, we're talking about at any age. At any age. Many of you may be navigating a transition. You may feel restless, unfulfilled, quietly called toward something new. And you just don't know if you're ready to do it or if you should do it. Self-coaching, helps you examine that comfort by asking, is this burnout or misalignment? And sometimes we need to figure out the difference between being burnout in a position or job or a misalignment with whether you should have been there in the first place. Have I outgrown this environment? Sometimes people make transitions because they feel they've outgrown the environment. They need to move on. They need to make a change. They need to do things. What strengths am I not using? Sometimes you're stronger than you're able to show because there's something that's holding you down. You're not able to produce all the things you know you can produce. And then, what fear is influencing my hesitation? And I've talked about this on the Gloria Show before too, because sometimes there is a fear of an influence that has you almost on pause because you're skeptical about making decisions, because maybe something is holding you down, dragging you down. And these are things that you have to make changes. And this is part of the awareness in your life. It has a lot to do with self-coaching. Instead of quitting emotionally, I've seen people who have just given up, walked away from opportunities of what could have potentially been great opportunities, all because they were just fed up. They didn't want to process it anymore. They didn't want to live with it anymore. But, instead of quitting emotionally, investigate thoughtfully. Give yourself credit enough to say, let me think about it. Sometimes you have a conversation with someone. If someone asks you to do something or introduce something to you, it's okay to say, let me think about it. Let me sleep on it. Let me see if this aligns with who I am, what I want, where I want to go. It's okay to take time to do that instead of just throwing things away and walking away. You explore it with maturity. As you have grown, as you have developed, instead of suppressing to dissatisfaction about what's going on around you, investigate your thoughts thoroughly. Yeah, and I say your thoughts. Everything that you're thinking about, be good to yourself and what you're thinking. Because sometimes, the pivot is external, and you need to think about whether or not you want to go out there and do something different. It could be a new role. It could be a business. There are many different ways that we pivot in life. And sometimes it's internal. Sometimes there are new boundaries, new standards, new expectations. Yeah, but we have to look at this when we're self-coaching, because the whole goal is to self-coach to a better environment, to grow, to approve of yourself. Yeah, who you are, who you want to become. And you make new boundaries. You set new standards. If you already have some standards, that's good. But if you feel like you need to make some more and strengthen them, do that. New expectations. And I'm really big on this. Expectations. Expectations. Expect the best of yourself. And don't settle for less. And again, I'm speaking from experience. If you want to see yourself in a better role, flourishing, thriving, you got to put that expectation in place. Yeah. And it's going to take some work to do it sometimes. But if you expect more of yourself, you're going to give more of yourself. You want to see yourself evolve and grow and be productive. People who, look at wealth in one direction, and I'm just using wealth as, a scenario. They work towards it to attain an avenue or a measure of where they want to be. Some people work very, very hard to acquire a certain income or status quo financially in life. Yeah. So when you evolve and you start getting to that point, when you see salaries change, contracts change, your financial wealth and your whole mentality about it, and you can do it with your health as well. When you want to see yourself feeling better, doing better, you learn how to eat healthier. You have to expect and see that of yourself. And all of this comes in line with self-coaching. When you want more, to do more, to have more, to see more, you start making the rules for yourself, to self-coach yourself to get there. Yeah, I'm speaking from experience. Yeah, from coaching as well. But I'm telling you, if you put your mind to it through the circumstances and put your feelings and your thoughts and all of it together, you can evolve. Self-coaching helps you distinguish between reaction and evolution. Evolution is this is the pivot. Evolution is a cornerstone in fostering understanding of how life adapts to change. You blend your real world experience with reflective awareness. Awareness-driven transformations to discover new possibilities. That's what evolution in life is all about. And that is the pivot. You blend your real world experience with reflective, awareness-driven transformations. And then you discover the new possibilities in this evolution. Because that evolution that takes place, it helps you to distinguish, this is who I am, who I want to become. And through self-coaching, you have this great new identity of, I can do this. The clarity, the awareness is there. You can do it. Coming up after our break, I'm going to talk more on self-coaching, and, we're going to get deeper into really how you can recognize that your self-coaching is really working for you. Even if you just use your own thoughtful way of the steps of how you are, how you want to be better, do better, know more, have more. Whatever the self-coaching perspective is for you, you get to design that. It's your life. You are living your life. So you have a right to self-coach yourself into the positive life that you want in making decisions, because that is your right to do that. And when we come back from another quick break, we're going to talk a little bit more about self-coaching and simplifying the problems to help you to be able to identify with whether or not your self-coaching is really in alignment with what you're looking for. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to make sure that that's addressing your need to be a self-coaching expert for yourself. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you growing in the direction of your aspirations? Did you know your life's journey is shaped by the choices you make today? Now is the time to invest in yourself to grow, elevate, and upgrade your life. In Life Skills for the Journey, Gloria Sloan offers a transformational guide to unlocking your full potential. Blending practical tools, inspirational wisdom, and proven life skills, this book empowers you to take control of your future with confidence and clarity. From decision-making to self-discovery, from vision to action, this book is your blueprint for personal growth. And now, you can go deeper with the Life Skills for the Journey Companion Workbook, a powerful tool filled with practical exercises, reflective prompts, and engaging challenges designed to help you apply these principles to your own life. Your personal development is your life. It's your evolution. Take the next steps in becoming the best version of yourself. Your journey starts now. With Life Skills for the Journey and its companion workbook, it's time to invest in yourself and lead the life you were meant to live. Available now on Amazon.
Hello and welcome back to the Gloria Show. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm talking about self-coaching with some tips and some tools and some options to help you to become a better self-coach for yourself. We're going to talk about simplifying problems. When you feel overwhelmed, it is often because you are reacting to assumptions. And in self-coaching, this slows down the process when you say, I feel stuck. And then you ask, what specifically do I feel stuck about? What is within my control? And what story am I telling myself? You know, when you're trying to self-coach, you have to really see yourself for who you are. What are you avoiding in life? What complexities are you hiding from to keep from taking the next step to simplify the problem? Self-coaching moves you from emotional fog to strategic clarity. That's what self-coaching does. It's from reaction to intention. And you hear people talk about intentional living and intentionally being able to do things. You have to look at yourself as to, this is where I am now, but at the same time, I'm identifying what are my next steps to move from emotional fog. I'm just really fogged out and I need to find the clarity. So there's a strategic clarity from reaction to intention, intentionally living the way you want to live. Hope and personal evolution. That is a positive way to look at it, because hope is not passive optimism. Hope is participation in your own growth. Hope is participation in your own growth, and self-coaching restores hope by reminding you that you're not powerless. You're not controlled by every circumstance, but you control your response to what's going on in your life. You control your interpretation. You control your efforts, your learning experience from it. Those are things you're in control of. And when you see yourself evolving through awareness, confidence strengthens naturally. Self-growth grows quietly, but powerfully. Self-growth can grow when you evolve around the awareness that you now have found. I know how to do this. I can do this. I can take these steps. I can be in control of who I am. You can do this. And you say, well, Gloria, how? how can I be sure that I am really looking at the steps to a positive self-coaching? And again, I say to you that these are things that I'm sharing with you that you can do on your own. But if you do engage in a coaching relationship with a professional coach, that person can give you more specific tools and guidance to help you to identify the circumstances, to deal with those thoughts and feelings, to look at the actions that you want to take so that you do have the positive results that you want in your life. What I am giving you is an overview of ways that I know that can help you if you want to gain clarity and awareness, is to be in control of your own thoughts and your feelings, and to look at ways how you want to know who you are. And you have to sit quietly with yourself and look at the things that surround you, your surroundings, and what is having the barriers on the things that you're thinking about, to get past and move past those things that are not structured the way that you want them to be. So in closing, let's reflect on some of the things that I've shared with you. But I want to leave you first with some questions to reflect, on where you are and where you're going. What version of yourself is emerging right now? What version? Ask yourself that question. And do you believe that you're ready to release? Are you ready to see a new chapter in your life? And then ask yourself, what decision have I been postponing? Is there something that you really want to do that you've been putting off, procrastinating, not sure if you want to do it? You ask yourself that question. And then ask yourself the question, what would alignment look like in this new season? If there is something that you're putting off for yourself that you want to see in your life, what would it look like? Do you have a vision board? Have you ever thought about that? That's another tool that coaches often use. Things that you want to have. What small action would make me be proud this week? Give yourself some awards. Yeah, reward yourself. What could you do this week that would be a step to self-coaching that would help you to be a little bit farther where you want to be, and that would make you proud of yourself? It's a small action. Self-coaching is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more fully yourself. That's what I want to leave you with. It's not about becoming somebody new. It's about becoming more fully who you are. It is the discipline of awareness. That's the whole thing that I've been talking about. Becoming fully who you are. The courage in all of it is to adjust. And the humility to grow. That is what self-coaching brings out of you. And the commitment to act intentionally at any age, to do it in any season, in any era of your life. You can do this. And again, I'm speaking from experience. I am a coaching experience. You can do this if you put your mind and your thoughts to it. Because, people talk about age, and age is this and age. The age is a mindset. Wherever your mind is, that's where your age is. Age is, yeah. And so, at any age, you can commit to, living intentionally, to find the alignment with where you are in your life. And This skill of self-coaching can unlock your next chapter. It can unlock your next chapter to give you a more positive viewpoint of who you are, because growth is not accidental, it is intentional. And if you're living an intentional life, you already have the capacity to evolve. Self-coaching helps you to get there. And again, to summarize my story, when I was telling you that I am speaking from Gloria's experience, yes, but from a self-coaching experience, because I saw what I could do through the circumstances, going above all things that were looking at like, you mean to tell me you're going to do this? Yes, I am. I'm stepping out. And you have this whole fullness about who you are. And I tell you, when you grow to a stage in your life where you are fully accepting to live intentionally, to self-coach yourself in a world that already has so many things going on, so many things going on, it does require work. It requires constant work. So my story is I worked thoroughly through my self-development, through taking the necessary steps, through constantly looking at my own vision board and my future self to where I wanted to go, where I wanted to be. And yes, there are still the circumstances that come up. There are so many things still in life that's happening. But when you self-coach yourself to a stage in life that you are able to move through your thoughts, your feelings, and take the actions and see the results that align with your life and your values, I want to tell you that is where you can say, I am living an intentional life because I am self-coaching myself through the circumstances. And these circumstances often are not things that you can change, but they're things that you can work through. And they're things that can make you become stronger, can strengthen yourself. You become a better version of who you are through self-coaching yourself through all of what you thought were obstacles, but they become movable barriers because you have thought about them, you've taken action on them, and step by step, you can see the improvement of where you are and where you want to be in life. I want to thank you so much for watching the Gloria Show today. And if this episode has inspired you, go ahead and like and share and follow me so you'll always stay connected and never miss an episode that's coming up. Because what we do is we talk about those things that inspire you. We talk about ways to help you in your own self-development and in your own journey for where you are in life. So I hope that you have been inspired today with something that I have said that would lead you to a self-coaching experience. Because it's a good experience. Because if you can make the commitment to self-coach yourself, then you can say, I am making a commitment to becoming more of who I am. And I want to tell you, there's more in you. You know, your potential is unlimited. It is totally unlimited. There is so much that you can do to become better and better and better. Even if you think that you know all you know, you can speak all you can speak, you got all the answers to everything, you know, even if you feel that you're at the height of hey, I've got it all, Gloria. I don't really need anything. Trust me on this one. There's always something else that you can learn. And even if you do have all that you feel that you need to know about in life, share it. That's what I always say. If you have reached a plateau in life that, hey, I've got all the money I need to make. I know all I need to know. And I'm to the point where I just want to sit back and chill and enjoy life. I think that's great. Share it. Share your positive and happy journey with someone in some way. Find something to do to share it, because we all need to know a good, happy story. And it's good when we can share that and have someone to say, I have lived a good life and I'm still living a good life. If that's you, share that, because there's someone who really might need to listen to it, who is on their self-coaching journey, who would like to surround themselves with stories and positive thoughts of someone like you. So stay connected to the Gloria Show and never miss another episode coming up. And remember, you can always visit www.gloriasloan.com to grab your free ebook, Everything I Want and Nothing That I Don't. It's packed with insights to help you create more clarity, freedom, and alignment in your life. Go there and grab your free copy. So I'll leave you with this. Ultra successful people are always learning and seeking new ways to find fulfillment and to elevate personal development. Until we meet again, keep growing, keep learning, keep shining, and keep self-coaching. Thanks again so much for joining me. Goodbye for now.
You've been listening to The Gloria Show. Be sure to check out www.gloriasloan.com for more tools, strategies, and inspiration. And don't forget to connect with Gloria on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Until next time, stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep moving toward your best self.